Welcome to Face the Facts. This is a special episode we have here tonight discussing and breaking down the lovely case of Deflategate. I am Nick Face.
I'm Christopher Millett.
We have a lot to discuss and dissect, don't we? It's been a whopping week.
It has. A lot of stuff has come down penalty-wise. The social media, internet has been quite the uproar.
Buzzed.
And the buzz around here, Patriots fans are not happy, and everyone around the NFL seems to have an opinion on this, and we're gonna get to it tonight.
It's not just regular Joe Schmoes that have an opinion.
Exactly.
I mean, even Congress has an opinion on the matter. So that's that's saying the least on that. In case you didn't see our last episode, we were discussing the what-if scenario. What was going to happen if the Patriots got penalized? And we kind of said that it was kind of going to be thrown out. I think we did a little bit. The other thing that we were also discussing about was how the draft was coming up and how if there was going to be a penalty, then we probably would have seen it before the draft.
Exactly.
But that never happened. So, in case we want to take you back a couple days. The Ted Wells report was released last Wednesday. That's when we had our last show. So we were kind of looking at it saying, oh, this has no credibility, this report is flawed, it doesn't have the things in there that can really make somebody probably guilty. That's how we were discussing it last week. Well, now the NFL has come out and they have announced that Tom Brady has been suspended for 4 games. You have the Patriots being fined $1 million. And then to put matters into other hands, you also have the 2016 first-round pick, that's gone. And the 2017 fourth-round pick is now gone too. So it's a very sticky situation right now.
Hefty violation, and not hefty violation, hefty burden that's been put on the Patriots now. And I think it's quite honestly just preposterous. They've been hit hard. I think they've been hit unfairly, especially Tom Brady. The picks, to me, I think I couldn't care less about the picks, to be quite honest, because we know Belichick's going to do what he does with his guys, whoever he has, and the picks are kind of like the chump change to Belichick.
It'll probably be a 30th selection too, or something
exactly.
like that, knowing how the Patriots
We're going to get number 5 next year, so it doesn't really... We're going to be number 32 in the draft, so... And who knows? We could have just traded away within the year this year. So
now I want to challenge. I want to be a little different from that. I want to say that, you know what, I think the picks do matter the most. And here's the reason why I'm saying that. And that's because those picks can turn into somebody maybe of quality. Those picks don't just have 4 games being suspended from like a Tom Brady would. They would have a whole NFL career. So that's why I think at least sometimes you need those picks to make a team.
Right, but then look again at what Belichick has picked in the second round with Gronk. I mean, Brady was like a 6th rounder. I guess those are your exceptions, but I don't think that we can automatically say right now that we would have had studs in the future with those picks.
That's a lot of what-ifs. It's like a minor league system for anything. You have no idea how a certain player is going to be until they go up and produce. Let's look at this penalty stage and kind of ask ourselves why on a few things. So let's first of all start at the top. Why 4 games with Brady? How do we justify it?
I don't know how you justify it, to be quite honest. This is something to me that they penalized him because he is Tom Brady. I think when they looked at the Patriots organization, they thought to themselves, the NFL thought to themselves, what is the most we can do for this team to affect them and to affect their organization, to affect their fans, and suspending Tom Brady is the most they could do. And
why would the NFL want to suspend Tom Brady is my question when he's the face of the NFL.
Because do you think...
And I'm making a bold statement with that. He is the face of the NFL. Forget about Manning. Forget it. Tom Brady is the face of the NFL. So my answer, or my question that I'm asking myself, why would you want to make your product look bad by doing this to your star player?
Because do you not think that the NFL, the NFL officials, the guys at the top, they don't have their favorites, and they don't have the guys who they absolutely hate. Mm-hmm. Why not? I mean, we look at the guys at the top, and it's your former Jets, it's your former rivals of the Patriots, workers, and they want to do anything they can to penalize Brady, to penalize the Patriots. I don't think that this isn't. They're not unbiased. They're completely biased.
Oh, absolutely.
In their suspensions and in their mindset. So when you have biased people at the top, you get unfair penalties like we got just a few days ago.
And I think they're biased because the Patriots win.
Exactly.
It's
jealous. They hate us because they hate us.
I think that they're mad because since the Patriots win all the time and they're successful with it, and Belichick's the way he is with his system, it's pretty unfortunate that you have to be that way, because I don't think this happens in any other sports league that there is. Does this happen in baseball? I don't think, as much as we hate the Yankees around here, I don't think you're going to see it from the commissioner's office in baseball that wants to point light at a certain thing.
It's almost like the teams that do bad are the nice teams.
Yeah.
Oh, they couldn't be doing anything wrong. They're the nice guys.
Yep.
Let's feel sorry for them. But the guys who are winning, the guys who are winning Super Bowls and dominating the league and dominating the NFL, they're the bad guys. Let's
you know who's a
deface
classic
them.
example of looking at a franchise team that has been winning for a long time? Detroit Red Wings. Okay, for a hockey team. They've been out there in the playoffs for I don't know how many consecutive years in a row. The NHL certainly appreciates a team like that. Doesn't seem like the NFL likes that.
No.
Which is pretty pathetic.
I don't know if they're doing it for
this
ratings
whole thing,
or...
I know everybody has their own opinion with it, but I think this is the most flabbergasting, ridiculous thing that I've ever seen in sports.
I agree. I think it comes down to almost like a stupidity level. Mm-hmm. It's preposterous.
Another thing we need to look at from the penalty standpoint, okay? Why is this so harsh? Why? Oh, I have a pretty good idea why. It's because the NFL is biased. Let's look back at what's happened in the past couple years within the NFL. You have Ray Rice's incidents. You have Adrian Peterson's incidents. You have the Saints with Bountygate. You have even the Patriots with Spygate and all that jazz thrown together. How has the commissioner handled all of those different things?
Suspensions.
Very poorly, too.
Exactly. And Ray Rice with the 2 games, we forgot to mention that Brady and his agents and his recently acquired lawyer, they have filed for an appeal for the suspension. So it will probably, and I hate saying that word now on the show, probably go down to 2 games. Mm-hmm. But then again, you're saying to me that the NFL is saying to their fans and the people watching them that abuse to people is on the same level as deflating air pressure. Why are these 2 things the same level of it's?
I know exactly what you're trying to say. What you're trying to say is that how is it right that a professional athlete, Ray Rice, or Adrian Peterson with his abuse that he's done, be able to go out there and say, all right, you know what? I'm going to hit my wife. I'm going to hit my girlfriend. And it's only going to be 2 games. Brady with the football that's probably did it. We're not sure. We have no idea. And he gets 4 games? What is wrong with that?
I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. You're saying, this isn't... And even with, the Roethlisberger or whoever it may be, whatever they're doing, these players, what they've done is so far beyond deflating air pressure in a ball.
Here's another thing, folks.
This suspension is wildly blown out of proportion.
If you take PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs, that's 4 games, too. So, you know what? That's basically saying, all right, you know what, Tom Brady? Go out and get jacked.
Yeah.
Go take whatever product you want. Go take your 4 games now and be the best that you can be, because that's the message that they sent out there.
Yep. They think ball pressure is a performance enhancer?
You know what's funny about this too, and I was thinking about it. You know how many rushing touchdowns they scored that game against the Colts?
I guess
3.
Yeah.
Really meant a lot, folks. Really meant a lot. That football that the officials.
You take
now,
away the.
let's not forget about this too. The officials did not do their job, and that's one point that I hope Brady puts into his testimony in all his battles.
This Deflategate, this whole thing, what it comes down to is how the NFL is so flawed in every which way, and it starts at the top in Goodell. Goodell does not know what he is doing. He is so far off the mark with everything, every decision he makes. He doesn't know what he's doing. This Deflategate, it doesn't prove to me that the Patriots are cheaters. It doesn't prove to me that that the NFL is taking into account of the games of integrity, and they want integrity to be held high within the games. It proves to me, it comes down to one thing, that the NFL is significantly flawed in every which way, and that, to me as a fan, is saddening.
Every time that the NFL comes out, Troy Vincent came out with the disciplinary report on Tom Brady and said that he messed with the integrity of the game. Every time the word integrity is said about the NFL, you want to laugh now.
Exactly, because they're not.
It's a joke.
Yeah. How can you preach something and not practice it?
Now, here's an interesting side that we also need to discuss on too. How does the NFL reshape themselves? How do they get themselves out of this battle? What is the solution?
The solution is Goodell is out. You need Goodell out of there to even start about thinking, or to even start like rebuilding the pieces and making up for your mistakes.
Okay, that's a perfect point right there, and I totally agree with you on that side. But we have a problem here, all right? If we get Goodell out, okay, you have an organization down at Patriot Place that has backed this owner through thin and thin, and that has come directly from Bob Kraft. Last week, he came out and said, we will stand by and take whatever punishment there is thrown at us. That's what he came back and said. I support whatever it is. Yesterday, or the night it came out, Monday, he comes out and says, oh, this isn't going to stand. We're going to take this out. We're in full support of Tom Brady.
He came out swinging.
Does that make him a hypocrite?
No, I don't think it makes him a
Because
hypocrite.
I got to think about the other side of what other people are thinking from other, California.
Exactly, yeah.
Because I can see what they're saying about us. They're saying, oh, look at the Patriots. They're a bunch of little whining babies, a bunch of hypocrites, blah, blah, blah.
Well, he said that he'd take the penalty, I believe, because he believes and he knows that they didn't do anything.
Sure.
They didn't do anything. And he thought maybe it would just be a fine. Maybe it would just be a couple picks. But when he's seeing that the NFL is taking away his franchise quarterback, the face of his organization, that's got to be invigorating for him.
It has to be.
I mean, it's on the other part. It even helps him. Brady jersey sales are up 100%.
Sure.
Brady merchandise, Patriots merchandise is booming this week.
There's no doubt that if you go anywhere around this area, that everybody's in full support of Brady, as you should be. I think, again, it's a football. Relax, people. It's a football.
It almost, to me, the last couple of days when Kraft was saying that he'd take his suspension, and when it came out, this was his tipping point. This was, the glass is just over. It's overflown, and he's not going to take it anymore. This is his last. This is the last straw, and he's. I think to his friend Roger Goodell, who is no longer a friend. Bye-bye, Roger. He's going to pound him into the sand. I mean, even Donald Trump says that the Patriots, Tom Brady, should pound the NFL into the sand.
And I'm sure people may say, well, you're really talking about Donald Trump? Really, Donald Trump?
Yes,
but
we are, folks.
We have to.
We are.
He's a big name person out there in this world, whether you like it or not. So listen up. Don't flick the channel, please. So what was his statement he said?
For those who don't know, Donald Trump, in a video that is online, I'm sure you can find it somewhere, said that Tom Brady, without a doubt, should sue the NFL for defamation for $250 million, and that the NFL would settle so fast that Brady and Patriots wouldn't even know what happened to him. I mean, that coming from Donald Trump, I mean, I'd take his word. I mean, he's on the wall. He's defending the wall. Mm-hmm. You have so many people defending the wall right now. It's so awesome as a fan.
It is a fun thing to think about, and the player support can go in a lot of different ways. I think the number one person that you want to look at from all of this is Teddy Bruschi.
Exactly.
I think he's been the one that's been the most vocal supporter out there, saying, I would trust Teddy Bruschi out there if I was listening out there as a fan and really wanted to believe somebody truthful in the media. Teddy Bruschi being a player who's battled through so many things with Brady and knows that organization pretty well, I would pretty much take his word for what he has to say.
I would take his word for anything, to be quite honest.
And Teddy Bruschi came out and said that there is no way that Tom Brady would be a cheater or Tom Brady would want to ruin his legacy and this and that.
Exactly.
The other name that came out, which is of very interesting discussion topic for me, was Jerry Rice came out and said that he is a full supporter of Tom Brady and Patriots Nation, and he is 100% supportive with everything going on. The reason we want to bring up Jerry Rice's name is because very recently a report came out where he was able to do an interview and talked about how he was able to be a very successful receiver within the NFL. In case you're not familiar with who Jerry Rice was, one of the best of all time, and he had his quarterback of Joe Montana. Joe Montana and Tom Brady are right up there on quarterback Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks right there. No question about it. But Jerry Rice said that he used Stickum when he was in the game of football.
Yep.
You want to talk about air pressure? That's fine. Let's talk about Stickum. That's not cheating? Let's be honest here, folks. Okay, these players are all doing something.
Right.
Something.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It's helping them in some ways. Okay. Let's use for an example. Baseball players too. They may have extra pine tar on their batting gloves.
We saw it last year with the pitchers.
With the pitcher, Pineda had his little thing on his neck. Clay Buchholz with bullfrog sunscreen or wet his hair, which hopefully he does more of because he can't pitch anymore. But those are good examples of different ways to get a competitive edge. Okay, it's not looked upon in my eyes as cheating.
Right.
I don't know if you have a different opinion on that.
I mean, if it's within the rule book, if it's not in the rule book, and you are doing it, then to me, and to the league, you're not cheating. Mm-hmm. I mean, if the league then comes in thereafter and determines that maybe it is enhancing your performance or it's a little too much of an edge.
That's what you just said. When you just said helping with your what was it? Endurance performance in the game. Were the footballs there really helping the Patriots in that game? No.
No.
No, not at all.
Look at the score. It's like they weren't even close.
Not even close.
All right.
I'll play with an 8-pound PSI ball.
Exactly.
And it wouldn't have mattered.
And blow them up to balloons and let Brady throw. I mean, we scored the 3 rushing touchdowns.
Yes.
That alone, we win.
Anybody else in the NFL that was surprising with anything? I thought Colin Kaepernick coming out and saying how much this is a non-issue. Let Brady play. It's ridiculous. Well, I also thought that there are some people, obviously the Jets and some people that hate the Patriots that have something to say.
New York columnists and all that stuff.
Yeah. Now, there is one columnist. Obviously, the Indianapolis people are out of their mind in specific things. Bob Kravitz is one of the names out there.
Bob Kravitz.
In Indianapolis, he was the one that released this report back before the Super Bowl, back before the Super Bowl was played. He's the one that started the whole thing.
Kravitz is after us.
Yes,
he is just like he's got nothing else better to do. And
he's going to sit back there.
The Patriots.
Now, isn't it interesting that this is a guy that has not done any kind of reports or radio shows or gone on the media thing, but he'll sit by his little computer and type away.
Yep.
Probably he cheated. Probably.
That's a soft man to me. That's just the softest move to do that and not even like speak about it publicly. If you're going to say something, back it up. Go on the air and here's why. Don't sit behind a little laptop and just send your things remotely. Call into a radio station. Back up your words. Because he's so soft. He doesn't want to step into the ring because he knows he'd get pounded.
Yeah, he would.
He knows he'd get pounded.
Come over to New England, buddy, because the fans will show you what we're all about.
Yeah.
Now, another thing that is interesting to think about. We have this whole play that's going on with Brady. Tomorrow he has to put his appeal in. We know that's coming.
Yep.
What do you think will end up happening? I know we have to play the what-if game here, but what do you think's going to happen?
Everyone's saying it's going to come down to 2 games, but even Adam Schefter said with ESPN that he's getting reports, and there is a theory out there that it might even get overturned. I mean, his lawyer, Nick, you said earlier today, is so good.
This lawyer that Brady had hired was originally the lawyer when Belichick was with the Jets and he was trying to come to the Patriots to be a coach. He was able to there was a lawsuit that the Jets wanted to put in for having to be negotiating while he was under contract or something. Wiped out. Another one of the things has been certain players that get performance-enhancing drugs or other penalties on them, he gets it wiped out. This guy has lots of experience and lots of credibility to his name. So if you're a Tom Brady supporter and you weren't feeling too happy about this whole story, you should feel happy about it now because I think this man's gonna
We got a lot of
pound some fists.
We got a lot of guys on our side. I wouldn't want to be on the other side, and I'm glad I'm on the side that I am because we got the real fighters.
Players and media and other people close to the Patriots organization have also come out and said how upset that Robert Kraft, with the whole situation there. Rightfully so. But we want to do a little interesting take while we wrap up the last couple minutes we have with you on air. We're going to do a segment called the Bob Kraft Feelings. There are 10 blanks you can fill it in, but we have to keep it clean. This is a family show here. Family comes first now. Okay, as we're all a whole big family here at Patriots Palace, Patriots Place. So if you had to pick a word to describe his feelings, what would it be?
Frustrated.
Just like I flipped my lid right there. Frustrated. Okay, there's a good one. How else could we fill it in?
Dumbfounded.
Dumbfounded. I like that one. How about just flat out mad? I'm just going to put that one out there. Keep it simple, but yeah, he's mad. Is he sad?
He always sad.
Oh, he's sad too.
Do a little rhyming poem.
Yep. He's not rad.
I mean, his style is pretty rad.
Yeah.
I think Bob...
Questioned.
Yeah, questioning.
Questioned. I think he's questioned about it. What else could we say out of there? Think about it, folks. What does the survey board say?
Is he confused? Is he...
Confused could be a good one.
Determined. He's obviously determined.
He's determined to win back his credibility. Absolutely.
Loyal to the organization.
Okay.
He's standing by.
I'm sure he feels a sense of trust with some of the people that he's with. Trust needs to be something that's there.
He's trusting Brady's word. He's trusting Belichick's word.
We need one more. One more. What could it be?
Patriotic.
Feeling patriotic. Okay.
Patriotic.
I like it. All right, so we had 10 different spots we could fill it in. Again, we're playing the Bob Kraft Feelings game. Okay. He is frustrated. He is mad. He is sad. He is questioned. He is loyal. He is patriotic. I think that's my favorite one. He's dumbfounded. He's confused. He's determined. And he definitely feels a sense of trust with the people that work and are close to him. Definitely think that. I think you could also have a spin on terms with, and you could put Tom Brady feelings and Bill Belichick feelings. I think it would be the same way on a lot of those different things that are there.
I don't even know what I'd say for Roger Goodell feelings. I think he's confused. I think he's probably in his bunker hiding because he knows he's going to lose his job. Now, the reason behind why we have to think that Goodell is feeling the heat for this is because, let's face it,
Robert Kraft is one of the most influential owners there are in professional sports.
That's right.
You don't have the back of the. He doesn't back the commissioner, and he doesn't do X, Y, and Z. How's that commissioner going to be feeling?
I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see what fellow owners do, if anything.
I want to hear what the owners have to say about this.
If anything, in the next couple
Obviously,
of weeks.
we know what Woody Johnson from the Jets feels because he's a dink. So. but the other ones, we want to know what they're feeling.
I take it. It's going to be very interesting to see.
Who is Kraft close with?
what
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm sure Jerry Jones with the Cowboys.
Right.
But other than that, there aren't really big owner types that are out there. The Bills just had a new ownership group that's out there for Buffalo, but I'm not 100% sure how they're feeling on specific things.
Who's going to come out and back us up?
That will be interesting to figure out who is going to come out and back it up. It may be an avenue some owners don't want to have to go down.
Right.
Because think about it, that's going to put them under a black cloud too.
And now they're the bad guys all of a sudden because they're following
Whether
the Patriots
they pick
and
one side or the other,
Exactly.
they'd rather probably stay neutral, which is probably why you haven't heard from them. All in all, this whole thing is foolish. All in all, this thing needs to die. All in all, if we have to talk about Deflategate anymore on this show, I'm retiring and I'm done. But to wrap it all up here, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I think Brady wins this.
Brady needs to go pump their tires.
Brady is going to come out swinging. He already has. Him and his agents, his lawyers, everyone in the Patriots organization is coming out swinging. They're going to win their appeal. And I'm looking forward to number 5 next spring. I'm looking forward to cue the duck boats. Cue the duck boats.
I did have
We're
one
getting
thing.
5.
One thing that I did want to mention, and you shot me a message about it yesterday, was that Patriots fans really have been very loyal to this team. It got so loyal to the fact that one of my favorite media outlets out there, Barstool Sports, had El Presidente go down to New York City's headquarters, and he actually got arrested for chaining himself with a bunch of people and cheering on the Patriots. How about that?
You had El Prez, you had Feidelberg, you had Hank, you had, I believe, Sales Guy. They all went down to NFL headquarters.
Roger, we want a piece of you.
They were protesting with signs out front in the little circle. And then they went in and they demanded they speak to Roger. Portnoy being classic Portnoy, and when they were denied, they sat down, they handcuffed themselves, and they stayed until they were arrested. They were released today.
They were.
They were
so
released
somebody
today.
paid their bail. It's good to know that.
Yeah,
okay. Life without El Presidente would not be very good.
Yeah, they were walking out without their shoelaces. It was with their free Brady T-shirts. And their I Stand with Tom, the number 5s. Oh, I love it. That's awesome.
The final thing that we have to say is Patriot fans and people all around the world, stay loyal to Tom, stay loyal to the Patriots, and hopefully we find an answer to our solution and a good answer to our solution very soon. Anything else?
I think that's it.
We hope to see you soon with hopefully a reduced penalty and all, but for now, I am Nick Face, and we will see you next time on another episode of Face the Facts. Have a good night.